you saving. I can't believe I saved this till the end. You're feminist studies, right? So you're a feminist.
Oh, God.
You've unleashed my wrath, I guess. Not really. I don't really. It's fine. Whatever. So you're a feminist?
I would say so. I guess.
Do you believe in the patriarchy theory?
I thought we talked about this already.
Not really. We didn't touch on it all that much. What do you think of men?
Like in what sense? Like just in general?
You
Sorry.
gotta speak into the mic. Like, what do you think of men?
They're fine. I don't
They're
know.
fine?
Like
Okay.
like what do you want me to like?
No, I mean, some women are very anti-men.
I'm not anti-men.
Excuse me, I meant to say some feminists are very anti-men.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all feminists are, but there certainly is among a lot of feminists, I would say there's a non-negligible portion who I would consider, and most people would consider, and some are even self-admitted misandrists, man-haters. So I'm just curious what your
I'm not
general
like
view is.
anti-men and
Okay.
like hate men.
But do you believe in the patriarchy?
I think that there are some like patriarchal like systems that affect both men and women.
Okay.
Like I'm not like all like only women are oppressed, only like I don't.
Okay.
I think I see both sides.
Okay, gotcha. So do you think women are oppressed?
I wouldn't use the word oppressed, but I think there's certain issues that women face and there's different issues that men face in different senses.
Okay, I can agree to that. Do you think women have greater issues than men have as a totality?
Greater issues?
Yeah, Nick, can you close the doors a little bit? It's getting a little chilly.
No, I think that once you start to compare issues, that's when it kind of it puts one sex as a lower value than the next, like than the other sex.
But isn't that the genesis of feminism? Women have it worse than men do. Women don't have
that's
equality.
definitely how some people view it, but I like when I say I'm a feminist, I kind of said this before, like I see it as like combating stereotypes that both men and women face to have like a better society. That's what I said.
Okay.
Like I'm not like only women have it hard, only women deal with this, like that's how I see it.
Okay. Do you think historically women were oppressed and women were the oppressed and men were the oppressors?
Yeah.
That's a narrative I frequently hear.
I would say that over time, dynamic is different now, but I think that women have definitely been oppressed before. Like we see that in like different, like we've seen that like throughout history in different ways, like in like basic senses, right? Like
Sure.
voting rights and like right to bodily autonomy, things like that, right?
Okay.
But men were definitely oppressed in history as well, but it's just different because the oppressors were also in the same system as men. Like men were always valued higher.
Were they?
I would say so.
Men were valued higher.
I think that the system that oppresses men were built by men.
Wait, the what?
Like the oppression that men face, like such as like having to go to the military, things like that, they're all set up by men. Like most of like history has been set up by men.
Okay.
So I think there's
do you think
two ways that you can see it.
Do you think if women were in charge, there wouldn't be war?
No, I don't think so. That's a
Wait.
hard thing to kind of like assume.
No, you don't think if women were in charge. Are you saying so? You're saying if
I think war is inevitable. It's gonna happen. Leadership and position, like we can't sit here and be like, if women rule the world, then this and this and this, because that's never happened.
Wouldn't it be fair to say then that if women were in charge, there would still be a military? Because you said, well, men were in charge, so
like
they set up militaries.
No, not military, but like having to like serve in the military. not the
You don't-
military itself.
You don't think that there would be, are you talking about forced conscription? Is that what you're talking about?
Like the fact that men have to serve.
draft?
Like, yeah.
So you're thinking if...
No, I was just bringing that up as an example.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think it's hard to sit here and be like, well, if the whole history was changed, if women were in power, if this, like, that's, we can't sit there and have that conversation because that's not really, we don't know what that would look like. We can't sit here and be like, if there were all women leaders, no war would occur, you know?
Do you think there would be less war?
I don't even think I can say that. I don't even think I can speak on that. That's like,
Okay.
that's a very broad, you know what I mean? Like what would you say to that? Like that's a really broad statement.
I mean, it's hard to say, but we do have some evidence to monarchies, and specifically, I mean, there's been different monarchies throughout history, but we actually do have some evidence to suggest that queens were more likely to wage war than kings.
Like what?
Like Great Britain.
Well, everyone
There-
loves
there-
anarchy.
What's that?
Everyone loves anarchy, even women, men.
Wait, no, monarchy.
Yeah, I know. Anarchy and like the whole system.
No, monarchy.
Yeah, I know. In
But why
monarchy.
no,
like,
you were saying anarchy though.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like women and like men, despite war or whatever, regardless, everyone wants either to be on top or anarchy, even in a monarchy. You know what? Do you see what?
Not really.
Never
following.
mind then.
But they have done like analysis of wars that have been waged where there was either a king or a queen, and they did find that actually queens were more likely, not by a huge margin, but were more likely to wage war than kings were. But I don't think you
But
were
that-
even really making
yeah.
the I mean, you seemed kind of vague on one or the other. But
I don't think I'm vague. I don't think I'm just like anti-men, like women should rule the world. Like I just think I'm not like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I think I'm just not really like pushing for that type of argument to happen. Like I think like history we can't really sit here and have like a discussion of like women ruling the world and like what would happen. Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, I mean, not really, because maybe we should try it and see how it goes. But
I mean, we can. It's just like a hypothetical question. Like that would like be so
Sure.
multi-layered. Like, what would that look like? What would that be? What would
Sure.
like?
Well, one of the common discourses in feminist rhetoric is this idea of male privilege. That sort of ties into patriarchy theory, just core tenet of feminism. So I'm like, do you believe in male privilege? And I'd like to go around the table if you guys believe in this concept of male privilege. Let's start with you, and then we'll go around.
Me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Male privilege, as in like what sense? Like they
So you've probably heard
have
the
things,
term
like,
male
easier
privilege.
than women?
Sure, I guess, yeah.
No.
Okay.
I feel like things are hard for everyone.
That's fair.
I don't really have a take on it.
Come on, you have a take, but okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I believe in male privilege.
You believe there's male privilege?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with her. I think like I don't really have I don't really have much of a take on it.
Come on, you got a take.
No one has a goddamn take on anything.
You got a take, Sophie. Come on. I believe in you.
Come on.
I guess so. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, yeah, it exists, and it's gonna always be there.
I think there's some male privilege, but I think women maybe a little bit more privileged, especially pretty privilege. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, it depends.
Women are probably more privileged than men, I would say.
Okay.
But
Yeah, there's also, I suppose, do you believe in, going back around the table, do you believe in female privilege?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
100%.
I think men are more respected, but
Men are more respected.
Yeah.
but there are definitely more privilege with women.
There's other privileges too, but
Women are way more privileged.
oh.
I agree that women are more privileged.
Oh, okay. All right. What about you?
I think women are privileged.
More than men, or you think it's about the same? Maybe men more privileged? What do you think?
I think I'm kind of in the middle. I don't really know.
Me?
Yeah,
I think they're both privileged in different,
in different ways.
In
Is
different
one
ways.
more privileged than the other?
historically, I would say that men have always been more privileged, but I would say that now we see it in different ways, especially in this like society where a lot is online and a lot of as we talked about, dating is really different for men and women. Like, I just think that privilege for women just looks differently than how privilege for men looks.
How does privilege for men look?
I would say that it's like being more respected in a workplace, being more chosen over like being like already like assumed that they're like smart, or being already like assumed that there's like things like that. Like, I would say that it's just that respect. I think someone said that.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, do you believe in male privilege? Do you believe in female privilege?
I think that both have their own privileges in very specific instances, but I would argue that women have more, especially in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, and there's different examples of that.
Right. Okay. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ways I could approach this, but I think the reality is that both men and women face their own challenges. However, I would say that men's issues are ignored, downplayed, or dismissed with an apathetic, typically it's not our problem. Men caused it. Men are to blame for their own problems, aka the patriarchy, while women's issues tend to be taken far more seriously, which I think is a privilege in and of itself. I mean, that's why in every single university and college in this country, you have a feminist studies program, a women's studies program, a gender studies program, which looks at, analyzes, researches all of the ways in which women are disadvantaged, whether real or perceived, and there is absolutely no corresponding program to address men's concerns. You look at governmental bodies, there's typically not governmental bodies that have anything to do with men, but there's things that have to do with women's health. You never see anything like that. In corporations, it's the same exact thing. I don't think there's a single college or university in this country which has a men's studies program.
I think it's because the term feminist, like the feminist study, should be men and women.
Should it? Do you think it was appropriate that we, when it, like for example, firemen, we've changed that to firefighter, or like policeman, we've changed that to police officer, right? So don't you think like feminists often argue about gendered terms, but in your political and ideological movement, you have feminism. That's a gendered term in your movement. So why not just, I mean, we can talk about egalitarianism.
Because we're trying not to be a minority anymore. Like,
women are not a minority.
I mean, we're just trying not
You're
to
half
be.
the population.
We're trying to be less oppressed. Sorry,
Less oppressed?
Wrong term. Yeah.